speaking to Darwyn Cooke, who is the creator, the god of the New Frontier. Sorry, but this must feel strange, kind of a full circle thing, having come out of, well, I mean, not come out, because you worked for others, obviously, before as well, but coming from Bruce Timm and the Batman animated series to creating this almost near instant classic graphic novel, or at least near, I mean, the popularity shot through the roof immediately, to here you are, calling the shots.
Well, it's very flattering of you to say that, but it's a big organization. I don't actually get to call the shots, but yeah, it's been incredibly thrilling, actually, the notion of it coming full circle the way it has, because I did. One of the most creative, really rewarding periods of my life was the time I spent down at the Warner studio working on the shows with Bruce and Paul Dini, Dave Bullock, and all the other guys. But I know when I left, I was ready to leave because comics are my first love, and I had the opportunity to go and do it. And I could never have conceived in a million years that one day Greg Novak was going to phone me up and go, "So, we're doing New Frontier animated. Bruce's studio is going to put it together. What do you say? You want to get involved?" I thought it was one of my friends phoning to pull my leg. And once we put a crew together, and I realized that these are the guys that I had worked with in the studio, we were all kind of coming back together, and they were all thrilled about the idea of putting my book on screen. It's an incredible feeling to know that you've got that kind of camaraderie,
And I'm sure in the process of adapting, overseeing, and you worked in animation, so you do understand what kind of gets let go. Is there anything that was just, they say writing is the process of killing your babies, that in this process of this being that was lost, that it was just really painful to let go?
I think that there, on a personal level, there were quite a few things that I found painful to let go. I mean, there were scenes I would have loved to have just seen filmed. The opening of the book with the losers on Dinosaur Island, it breaks my heart that we weren't able to do that. But probably the part I missed the most would be the John Henry arc that's in the book. We do get to touch on it in the film, but I think that was probably one of the more powerful parts of the story, and we just simply didn't have the room to address it. But actually, those are small complaints at this point. I think pretty much the entire spirit of the book is captured in this short 70 minutes.
I think so. I watched about half of it last night.
It's an incredible credit to the crew and their dedication to trying to put as much of the detail and texture of the story into that 70 minutes as they could.
Yeah. So, I can say, you're going to repeat yourself if I say the proudest moment of it, because obviously you're proud of the whole thing. Did you have any input on voices and who the actors would be?
Bruce was nice enough to give me a call, and we knocked it around one afternoon. But frankly, that was the one part of the film I had very little interest in getting involved in, because I knew we had the two best people on the planet, and that's Andrea Romano and Bruce Timm. That was the one part of the film I just didn't have to worry about, because I knew there were people who were just so much better than me at that part of it, in charge of it, that I could relax.
Good. And you've now recently wrapped up 12 issues of The Spirit.
That's right.
How do you feel in the wake of that, of following in Will Eisner's footsteps?
I feel like a guy who just sprinted through a minefield and made it to the other side. Honestly, it was a nerve-wracking year, trying to make sure we didn't embarrass ourselves, with the most famous comic creators, most famous creation. It was nerve-wracking, but I think we got out of it okay. We didn't embarrass ourselves. I don't think, I'm no Will Eisner, but I hope if he can see it, I hope he thinks, we did well by him.
Yeah. And do you feel you did well by him? I've enjoyed it. I can't, but
it's very difficult for me to appreciate my work. For me, it's an ongoing process, and every project gets dismembered and autopsied. I'm looking at the weaknesses, the flaws, the places where my dialogue isn't strong, where I've sloughed off a piece of exposition, where I've cut a corner on a drawing. And so I'm constantly looking at the work, and I think part of the pursuit of great work, and again, there's no pretension here. I create entertainment. I don't think of myself as an artiste. I create entertainment for people. But if you set standards for yourself, you'll find you're very rarely happy with your own work, because you're always trying to take it to a better level.
Well, with that, I mean, how do you keep yourself from stopping yourself then?
I can't, and that's why everyone says I'm such a pill to work with.
So far, you've been nice.
I'm nice enough. But I'm very demanding when it comes down to the quality of the work. I will not work with people who won't put 100% into it. I do not hold it against people who want to coast through something. I understand that. But I don't want them on my team. When I'm going to take the time to do something, I want to do it with people who are as committed to it as I am. And I think that's why we've been able to distinguish ourselves with this work, because of that standard.
Yes, I mean, okay, so you've walked through the minefield for a year. You're about to walk into maybe another one. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, my feeling is people are very excited about this, obviously. Do you get to take a break?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm taking 3 months off as of after tonight.
Disappearing into the ether and hopefully reappearing in 3 months. And when you do, what are we going to see?
Well, I'll tell you, it's difficult to say what's going to pop first, and that's basically where I'm at right now. There are 2 animated projects in the wind, which are on the level of New Frontier at the very least, and it's a matter of what pops first. I have a creator-owned graphic novel I'm putting together right now, and I've got a couple little things I'm doing with DC this year, but nothing major. It's going to be a year where I'm going to start moving out into other areas. And one of them that's most important to me is creator-owned work. I'm interested in doing more human stories and reaching a larger market with broader stories. I've been really excited seeing things like American-Born Chinese and Fun Home and these wonderful graphic novels that are breaking out in the mainstream in bookstores. And I see that the whole world's ready for comics. It's just most of the world's outgrown superhero comics. And at my age, I'm 45, there are other things I think I'd like to try to express or communicate. So to me, that's a very exciting part of what I've got coming up. But on the other hand, Dan Didio, he knows all he's got to do is dangle a shiny toy in front of me, and I'm like a cat.
Which shiny toy would you like him to dangle?
Right now, you know, I got to be honest, I've exhausted my Jones on almost every DC character. I got to do almost everything I wanted to with Frontier. I mean, can you imagine I got to spend 40 pages with the losers? I got to make King Faraday the star of a DC book. Rick Flag. The Challengers, if I had a choice, it'd be the Spectre, I guess.
Okay.
And actually, James Robinson and I are talking about it right now.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We got to wrap it up, and there we go.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the subscribe button for more programming for the well-rounded geek. And remember, use your powers only for good.